Yes. Hi, everyone. Let's see. I hope this is working just right. Let's get it a little bit more snatched. Hi. Welcome to the Equinox situation. How's that? Better? Can you hear me, you guys? Yay. Okay. Welcome to the Equinox Live. This is our Equinox Live ritual. The light is changing dramatically as we speak. So let me just give me 1 second. We'll see how this plays out. Word. Hopefully that'll do something. Cuties. Yeah, maybe. Bear with me, kittens. Okay. Here we go. That'll do. So welcome to the EdibleSpirit Live Equinox ritual. Hopefully you've watched your mood board, you've seen your mood board, you've checked your mood board out, and you have all of the ingredients that you need to do our ritual ready. P.S. First and foremost, just want to take this moment to thank you for joining the EdibleSpirit experience. Thank you for being a part of this community. Let's see. I don't like this. 1 second. It's Mercury retrograde still. Even though we are just about to be in the midst of our Aries delightfulness. Yes, cute, works. This is much better. Even though we're just about to be in the middle of Aries season, even though we're about to start the spring equinox, even though all of these things are happening, we're still in the middle of Mercury retrograde, which means that when we launched the streaming for this, it didn't really want to work, was not interested in starting. And also, all of the preparations, everything that we were doing today, even though we've been preparing for this all week, we didn't get to do today, just took a little bit extra longer. Point is that Mercury retrograde is in Pisces. So Pisces is the season that ends in about 20 minutes. You know, at 5:58 p.m. on the East Coast, 2:58 on the West Coast. That's when the equinox is exact. That's what we're kind of gearing our ritual towards, is to be able to be together and be present in that moment. And in that moment, the sun leaves Pisces and goes into Aries. I know you know this if you read the Equinox mood board, but for those of you who haven't, that's why we're explaining this. Leaves Pisces, goes into Aries. End of the zodiac, end of the year, beginning of the new year. And Mercury is retrograde in Pisces for another like 7 days, okay, 7-8 days. So the idea of that is that it's supposed to be slowing us down and making us retrace our steps, rethink our actions, rethink our steps, retrace our actions, whatever. In the realm of the emotions. So it's like things are fucking with our heads and screwing with our minds in order to open ourselves up to emotions that are usually out of reach. Okay? Connections that are usually out of reach. So example, you miss a plane or you miss a bus because of subway, because of some technological bullshit. But that thing causes you to have consequences at work or something. But that missing of that bus connects you to someone on the platform that you then are connected to for the rest of your life. Or random occurrence of like, oh God, why did that have to happen that way? It goes down. And then, you know, you see someone that you haven't seen in 100 years. And it's like, oh, I thought I needed to do X, Y, Z. Mercury retrograde actually showed me that this is what's up. And because of this contradiction from Mercury retrograde, because of this snafu, because of this problem, now I'm more connected to myself and to everything. And that's the Pisces part of it. But the main reason that we're going into this is because of the Edible Spirit experience, of which you, my beloveds, are a part. This is not for the public today. This is subscribers only. It's going to stay subscribers only. You all are coming in numbers. So we have a community here now. It's pretty damn exciting, and it just makes our hearts swell like nothing else. Point is, we started this. We've been trying to figure out how to do this work digitally with you for so long, and this is the format. But we started this because every time one of these, we started the experience in Edible Spirit in general, because every time that one of these astrological alignments would come along, a new moon, a full moon, a whatever moon, equinox, solstice, there was always something inside that, you know, urged us to do a ritual or to invite friends over and have a circle. And then once we started doing and teaching and working, you know, full time as a reader, it just sort of seemed like that was always happening. And yet there was always this scramble at the last minute to kind of get things together and pull sources from different places and figure out what was going on and what do I need to do and wait, what is this about and how do I actually do that? And it just always felt kind of rushed, right, and confusing. And we're Virgo rising, so we're working on our organizational skills here. Otherwise, Scorpio Sun, Sagittarius Moon, so, you know, deep and far, honey. But don't love the meticulousness and suffered and struggled because of that for a long time, because I always thought that these rituals had to be so exact and so on point and so this and so that. But we started the experience to give you somewhere to go when you want to do your magic. We started the experience to give you a way to connect at a time that was convenient for you with someone who is doing that legwork for you to figure out what this moment is about, and then gathering together to not just do that ritual or tell you what to do in that ritual, but to do the ritual with you and to be reasonable about it so that you're not just following a recipe, so that you're reading the recipe maybe, or watching, you know, the Edible Spirit, you know, magical cooking show, and then improvising and doing what's right for you. So, you know, we definitely subscribe, even though we love to cook fish for people, we much prefer to teach people to fish so that they can cook their own damn fish. And that's kind of what we're doing here today. So notice that today, as I sent you guys, you know, we channel this stuff too, so we don't always know where it's going to lead, but sent you the stuff about getting an Easter egg in order to do your ritual today. Everywhere we went in Brooklyn could not find an Easter egg, and I wanted to show you what I decided to get instead. I went to the 99-cent store, got a little like aluminum foil, you know, muffin tin situation, put one on top of the next, and there's the Easter egg that we're going to use for doing our ritual. Wanted to get gorgeous, fresh, luscious flowers and all that other stuff, but once I realized that everything wasn't coming together in exactly the way that I wanted it to, and exactly the time that I wanted it to, I was like, cool, what do we actually need here? Representations of all the elements, power objects, tarot cards so I can do your reading, symbol of the egg, pen and paper for me to write on. Oh, that's auspicious though. Whoa, you guys, Pisces. Full on floodage. Okay, there's still water in here, so we can use the water. Come on, that's a synchronicity. End of Pisces, we get a spill. Okay, where are we at? Okay, 5:40, we're perfect. So we're going to dive into this ritual in just a second, but that's what I wanted to, the last thing I wanted to say to you, was, did manage to get glitter glue for this ritual. So mainly all you need are these representations, red candle. Remember I said get a big red and a small red. Could only find big reds, so we've got 2 big reds. So we've got that here. Oh, I would actually say if you have a red candle, maybe light it now, one of them, so that it gets cooking. And then actually go ahead and light some sage or some incense in order to begin opening up our sacred circle, okay? So lighting this now as an accoutrement candle that we're going to use for some magical invocation. So remember, in your recipe that we sent to you, this is actually a small candle, this one, but use it as you will. Do your thing. and I'll explain to you why we have all of this. Okay, so basically, we have the sage representing air in the east. Palo Santo, I'm burning incense. We've got the candle, tea light in the south, representing fire. Water in the west, representing water. And then a plant in the north, representing the earth. Okay. So what we do here in order to open up sacred space is first just get grounded, okay? So the way that we like to get grounded is to imagine a beautiful grounding cord of light descending from the base of your spine, or to ask Mother Earth to draw you into her. But also, you can just bring your hands to your heart center, close your eyes for just a moment, take a deep breath in, blow it out. Take one more deep breath in. And feel the tree roots growing at the base of your spine. Blow them out and ask them to extend down into the earth. Do that one more time. Just feeling every bit and piece of your body getting heavy and grounded. And as you relax and release into the grounding, feel Mother Earth grasping onto that weight and pulling it in even closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to her. So that's your grounding. From that space, we're going to center in just a moment. But first, I would ask you to visualize a beautiful space of protection around yourself. So imagining a beautiful three-dimensional shape of any size or shape or color. Prism, a cube, a sphere, an egg works really nice. If you want to run with the visualization that we're going to use a little bit later, let's do that. Imagine a little egg around yourself, sitting inside of an egg. Beautifully protected. Some clairvoyants say that the aura is the shape of an egg. We've seen all sorts of crazy shit in auras. So, imagine that egg and feel your energy radiating out around you in the shape of an egg. And now imagine a beautiful, delicious shell all around that egg. You can imagine that shell being painted around that egg. You could even reach out and sort of feel the durability of that shell. Imagine knocking on it, and what sound does it make when you knock on it? Feel the texture of your eggshell. Notice how thick it is. Notice, is it clear? Is it opaque? Is there anywhere that is compromised or that needs fixing or patching up in some sort of way? Anything that needs support? Just, you can extend your hands there. You can just will and imagine and visualize protection and support anywhere that you feel you need it. And if you don't like any of these visualizations, you can just say, I'm perfectly grounded and protected now. I'm perfectly grounded and protected now. I'm perfectly grounded and protected now. Thank you. So this is a ritual to celebrate the spring equinox, to call in the energy of the equinox, and to orient ourselves ideally to the spring, okay? We'll call on the corners, we'll open up this sacred space, and we'll do a little invocation. So if you haven't lit your sage or incense or Palo Santo, you can go ahead and do that now. And we'll ask that this is what we realized too. We usually give new moon, full moon rituals so that you can do them yourselves in your own time. We're going to try to work with shifting that a little bit, especially today. This is a collective ritual. So this is the ritual. If you're watching this, keep up, keep with it. If you don't have your accoutrements, walk through it, watch it, take notes, and then do it on your own. Use it as you will. All of this is here for you to use as you will. But effectively, making the sacred connection now between us and wherever you are to commence this ritual to celebrate the spring equinox. The moment of exquisite balance of equal parts light and dark, equal parts yin and yang, equal parts in and out, equal parts up and down, equal parts old and new. Exquisite, exquisite balance, a 0 point, a portal, the end of the old year, the beginning of the new, the end of Pisces, the beginning of Aries. Welcome, 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 welcome to this ritual. Thank you for being here. Know that all of this will transpire exactly as it needs to. Every success, every mistake is blessed and perfect and whole here. That's the whole point. We're in this fucking together. And to go back to what we said at the very beginning of this, it is much more important to pause and do anything. A deep breath, sing a song, Om a few times during this moment of the spring equinox. Way more important that you do something than that you get overwhelmed thinking you got to do everything, or that you get so overwhelmed thinking you got to do everything you end up not doing anything. So welcome, welcome. Calling upon all of the guardians and spirits of the East Spirits of air, clarifying spirits who connect us to the higher realms and higher planes. Please open this gateway, open this sacred circle. Please join the sacred circle, support the sacred space. We're eternally grateful to you for your presence. We thank you for being here today. Using a match, as my queen Harriet and the Star once instructed, holding the match in the left hand, the receptive hand, holding the box in the receptive hand, holding the match in the right hand, bringing together sun and moon, yin and yang, equinox vibes, spark of Aries. So dramatic, so fun. Spark of Aries. Hey. Calling on all the guardians of fire. So you can light your candle now if you have it. Spirits of the south. Spirits of the ancestors, spirits of the inner children. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful who came before us. We ask you to join the circle, support the sacred space, bless us with your light, and help us to take every step supported and grounded by those of you who have walked this path before us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. So I have a little water here. So you don't have to drink it. I would drink it, except there's not a lot in here anymore because Pisces spilled it all out. So calling on all of the spirits of the West, beautiful spirits of water, flowing beings who help us to move from one space to the next, to feel from one sensation to the next, to love and care and emote and empathize and shed compassion, and who help grace to move through us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful, sweet spirits of the West, please join the sacred circle. Spirits of water, join the sacred space. Thank you. And then whatever, ooh, wow, you guys, this is fun. Come on, I'm getting blessings from all the elements. Just got singed by the incense. Okay, so now holding this beautiful earth symbol, calling upon all the guardians of the north, spirit of earth. Please join the sacred circle, support the sacred space, enlighten us with your teaching. Show us what is and what can be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please join the sacred circle and support the sacred space. We're eternally grateful for your presence. Thank you for being here today. Beautiful. Now just touch the ground and say thank you, Mother Earth. Please join the sacred circle, support the sacred space. Up to the sky. Thank you, big sky beings. Please join the sacred circle, support the sacred space. Illuminate this space. Illuminate the protection within this space. Open all of our chakras as needed to the degree most suited to each of us at this time, and our highest good healing with harm to none. And please, 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 setting the intention, all of you beautiful spirits, north, south, east, west, above, below, please enter this space, clear it out, and as we bring our hands to our heart center and bow to the seventh direction, in the center of our hearts, please, please clear out whatever we do not need in this space. So everybody now take a deep breath in through your nose, blow out through your mouth, and bow the head down. And just feel whatever you don't need inside of your sacred space draining out, draining out, draining out, draining out, draining out. Light and grace in harmony with divine plan, with harm to none, so it is. Thank you. Thank you. And Ise-sa. Okay, so what we're talking about now in these last few minutes, 10 minutes before we're done, is the part of this where we're going to get our egg, we're going to get some intentions, right? And we're going to imagine well wishes, right? Well wishes for our newborn self. It's literally like, I'm going to give you the astro insight after this. We're in the sweet spot of this vortex right now, so we're going to dive into this, okay? Well wishes for our newborn selves relative to what we learned during Pisces. What we learned during Pisces. Based on where you are now, what do you wish? Let's say if in 9 minutes at 5:59, 6 p.m., you are new, you are a newborn baby, what is the mazel tov you want to say to this baby? What are the things that you hope for it? What are the things that you know will be true for it? You know, you will be the apple of your soul's eye, right? I hope. Okay, so I'm not going to just give examples. I'll do a little bit of this work for myself. What's the well wishes that I give to my newborn self? I wish you peace, and I wish all of you peace, right? I wish you balance. Oh, very Equinox. I wish you a strong, stable, and accurate evaluation of, accurate, continuous evaluation of yourself. I hope you don't forget. I wish you success in all your service-based endeavors. There's like a motorcade outside. I pray that you trust your worth, which is priceless, but also legitimately valuable. That was a little beep on my computer saying that the equinox is 5 minutes away. Okay, but also legitimately valuable. Expression of yourself. Exquisite service. You will be responsible for. Okay, so one of the things that I learned in the last couple of weeks was about responsibility and responsibility for self. And I just have a new sense of that, a new sense of agency. Also, been doing so much work stuff and learning that if I do less and if I focus more on fewer things, then I get more things done. For just learning that now, guys. That was a big learning. And that notice all of the self-esteem related stuff. So Mercury retrograde made me have to work differently. And I noticed all of the self-esteem related stuff that makes me overwork in other situations. So that's why I was writing about trust and worth. There's also something about Uranus entering Taurus that we're going to come up to a little bit later. But basically, those are your wishes, okay? Whatever you got. I may do a few more a little bit later, but for right now, this is all we really need to do. And then the whole point is to wish that, will that for yourself, and to, from the place that we are now, having learned what we just learned, to basically fill our new self, our new space, our new egg with this magic and this mojo, these well wishes. By all means, please don't rush this. If you want to take more time, just keep watching and then do it yourself. I just want to get into the right mind space for you guys. And so then I'm going to seal this a little bit, ever so slightly. And I'm just using the foil clips, right? Because I don't want to get, what's it called? I'm using the foil clips because I don't want to get all crusty just yet. And again, that's going to be a little improvisation for me. So this is my moment. And this is why we have this wax burning from this red candle. So we're actually just going to symbolically drip some of this red wax onto this candle, onto our egg, in order to symbolize and seal our intentions into this space. Hermetically seal our intentions into this space. Remember, this is the little one, so we actually aren't going to need that one anymore. Opa, that was interesting. This we're going to light in just a moment. And then in the meantime, you're going to cover this one also with symbols of Pisces season. We're going to make it blue, blue glue. And again, we're using wax and glue here because we want it to be kind of groovy. And we want it to represent, or we want it to be sticky. We want it to seal symbolically. And we want it to be blue for Pisces and red for Aries, okay? So there's our cosmic egg that we've created. Where are we at? Perfect, 5:56. So now your job is to sit with this and give it a gander. And think about everywhere you've been and everything you've done and everything you've learned, at least in the last month, especially in the last 2-3 weeks, knowing that there's a little more information coming during the Mercury retrograde of the next 8 days. I think some extra glitter because it wasn't enough for me. Okay, so then those guys are chilling. And remember, sacred space is open. And we are looking at a representation of ourselves incubating with all of the well wishes that we somehow confusingly and miraculously gave ourselves from the past for the future. And imagine this newborn about to be born, so beautiful, kicking and screaming, all of those prayers, all of those wishes, and watch them swirling around in these blue, blue waters of Pisces, in the deep, in the dark, in the womb, in the unknown, feeling for the moment of pop when the equinox arrives, feeling for a match. I don't usually do this, but where's the match? Okay. Improvisation once again. So imagine, here we go. Striking it. And knowing that we're in there, that when we light this match, ooh yeah. You guys. We're kicking off the start of the equinox. So all of those things swirling around in the waters of Pisces until the moment of the spark of life from Aries. So now imagine that bing, all that's being born, of all that is gestating, has been gestating, that is ready to emerge. We're there. We're there. Happy spring. Just feel it for a second. Fire popping off in all of your little cells. Actually imagine the insides of your cells with a spark of fire, like the light of a match inside of them. See the same spark of fire inside of your cosmic blue egg. Okay, so typically in years past, what we would have maybe done is cracked the egg, right? Done this well in advance and then cracked the egg during this moment because this is the moment to be reborn. But that was not how we were guided this year because we're dealing with something a little bit different. We're dealing with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So we're born not prematurely, but it's almost like we're born with a little fluid in our lungs. So there's something to be worked out or moved through or further understood over the course of the next 7-8 days. Whereas today, it's begun. So that's why we were guided to direct you to the center of your cells to feel the spark, because the new life is here. The new birth has already happened. What we're going to do is leave this guy with this candle, right? And if you don't want to leave the candle burning, put it out when you leave and light it again when you're back. You might need long kitchen matches to do that. But I would say put the candle and the cosmic egg, if you can't leave them right here where they are, put them in an altar, put them on an altar spot somewhere, okay? And the feeling is that you're going to let it bake. Let it continue baking. All of the well wishes for the birth has happened. It's working itself out. And then once the candle goes out, or once Mercury has turned direct on the 28th, whichever one comes first for you, I don't think this will last for 8 days, you crack it open. And that's how we were guided to do this with you. So you crack it open and then burn the piece of paper that's inside, okay? Because by then you'll know not just that your well wishes, you'll be able to feel it, is what we're hearing now. Okay. And so now the astral moment of this, because P.S. today is also a full moon in Libra, okay? And that's the other reason why we're waiting a little while to crack this guy open, because the Libra full moon brings in a lot of intense energy, but it's a lot of clarity energy, a lot of like understanding energy. And so it's almost like you get the next 7 to 8 days to get to know the new you that's been born today, as though you're someone else. And that was also the inspiration for well-wishing the newborn you, which is you, right? But treating yourself as someone else, treating your you as another, in order to understand and appreciate and wish for them maybe things that you couldn't necessarily wish for yourself, okay? Or that you wouldn't normally wish for yourself. So that's the process here. And P.S., that's what we really feel like is going on, is that there's been so much insight and information coming through the last month of Pisces season, all of the understanding from the Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and then we'll finally talk about Chiron in Aries and Uranus in Taurus. Chiron in Aries is bringing in, I got to look up the timing of it. I can't remember how long it's in one sign for, but Chiron in Aries is bringing in a really new magical period of self-healing, but also we feel like inner crisis relative to outmoded external, systems, beliefs, whatever, systems, beliefs, patterns, collectives, literally everything. It's like we feel like Chiron, one of the things Chiron in Aries is going to do is dramatically compel us to pay attention to where we are out of balance relative to what's inside and what's outside, where we are out of balance. And the whole point is that it's going to make us pay attention, because Chiron likes to compel it's worked with, engaged, healed, and thereby increasing the overall function of the whole system. The system in this case is Aries, which is a sign of the self. So I can't remember. I think it's like 7 years. I don't think it's probably maybe longer. I forget. Orbit of Chiron. Anyway, the point is that it will be, how long is Chiron in a sign? So Chiron is also the chart of the wounded healer, right? Let's see. 525. So then it says 7. Yeah, okay, great. I wasn't wrong. It's like 6, 7 years. That's chic. I know Uranus is 7 years, so it's not too far off. Or so it would seem. Double check. 1937. Oh, it's an irregular orbit, I think, actually. It's not actually a super consistent orbit. So we will, 7 years, exactly 7 years. So Chiron is also the sign of the wounded healer. It shows you where your wounds are so that you can build the medicine to help heal others heal yourself and then help others with it, right? So it symbolizes the wounded healer, and like we said, it shows you what's not working so that you can pay attention to it and help it to work better. Okay. So we think this is going to compel people to deal with discrepancies between their inner realities and their outer realities. Uranus entering Taurus for the next years is about shakeups regarding our systems of value. So a lot of the stuff that I put in here has been stuff that I've been processing over the last month related to values. A total fucking crisis in values, dramatically and very irresponsibly assessing myself, my worth, my being, right? This is Michael speaking right now. Whew. So wrong about so many things. And it's literally like Uranus dipped into Taurus back in May of 2018, but now it's here for the next 7 years. And this is what we're associating with this. It's just like, how could I have been so wrong about what I'm worth, what my body needs, what I feel like doing, how I want to live? Like, well, I wasn't wrong. It was just in a different cycle. Uranus in Aries was shaking up and elevating our concepts of self. Uranus and Taurus will be shaking up and elevating our concepts of stuff, our concepts of things, our concepts of matter and material. So saying all of this because we've been having to kind of keep those two planets at bay intuitively while everything else has been going on around Pisces into Aries and the Mercury retrograde. But this is where we are now. New. And because these are Chiron and Taurus are relatively slow-moving planets, this emergence into springtime, it's right on time for us to really start paying attention to them and really start noticing. New York Times, I think it was Sunday, my friend Melissa sent it to me, but New York Times published something about how psychics are the new wellness coaches, about how much more mainstream psychicism is becoming. And there were all sorts of really funny old, prejudices and whatever inside of this article, just canned statements that are boring. But one of the things that we loved about it was that there was an emphasis placed on how a lot of these new psychics are actually nudging people to rely on their own intuition. And we will be very explicit about it. We are here to show you how we came to do what we now do, no matter how fucked up we were along the way or how fucked up we thought we were along the way. We're here to show you that so that you can do what you know how to do, because you can, right? We believe everybody is wildly psychic, and part of one of the benefits of being a member of the experience is that you work with this stuff long enough, and it's not about us anymore. It's all about you. I mean, it was never about us, but literally, like, this queen comes through and it's like, come, join, let's do this. And now you're here. So that's why we said it was about us for a moment. But know that that's the switcheroo. Everything we do it for you. Okay. So those two things happening in that astral moment. Oh, spring, 3 months, right? If you want to do another different kind of intention or manifestation practice, today's a great day to do it. Again, that was kind of bundled into this cosmic egg. Well wishes for yourself, the same thing as positive intentions. But theoretically, because this is one of the two equinoxes of the year, spring and fall, versus the solstice and winter and summer solstice, this equinox is low. Hello? Did I lose you? Said I was offline for a second. Just make sure. Okay. Spring equinox, new year, spring, time to seed, summer, blossoms, right? Blossoming, fall, fruiting, winter, dying, or fall, not fruiting. Summer, blossoming, fruiting, right? Fall, harvest. Winter, death, spring, rebirth, right? Winter, plowing, raising, whatever. Not an exact science here, not an agricultural major of any kind, but the cycles of planting, growing, harvesting, starting over, raising to the ground, burning, right? Even for winter, or frosting over. So the whole point of that is that this is basically a lovely time to use to start intentions that you want to nurture throughout the year. So the ones we gave you were more so for this season. These well wishes are maybe a little more short term, but by all means, put long-term manifestations in here as well. This is going to get burned though. If you want to do a yearly manifestation practice, I like to limit it. Write 3, maybe 4 things that you want to create this year. Not that you want to get, not that you want to have, but feeling states you want to create, abundance flows that you want to create, alternate incomes, or I want to create, it's not that I want a better house, but I want to create an ideal living situation for myself. I don't want to create an ideal living situation. So I would say make like 3 or 4 of those. And then the idea is that the same way as we visualized all of our well wishes for ourselves coming out of Pisces season, and then watch them kind of burst through and spark full of light when we lit that match and when we moved into Aries. You would do the same thing. You would want to spend time visualizing those 4 intentions, 3 or 4 intentions, feeling them swirling around, never violating anybody's free will. So it's always a bad idea to say when manifesting, I want this person to give me this and do this, because it's sort of wishing to control another. So try to make sure that your intentions and manifestations are about you and what you're calling in, remembering that you have all the power, you have what you need. It's already existing on the side. It's already existing on the psychic planes, as my teacher Gail Fatke used to say. All you've got to do is allow it to enter your life, allow it to manifest. Right? She speaks. And then the idea is you would fold it and put it away on an altar and actually check in with those manifestations through the seasons. And hopefully you will all be with us through all of the seasons, and we'll be able to check in on them together. We're not working with big long-term intentions this year, so we don't feel like it. We're using this cosmic egg, staying in the moment, and just continuing to ride these lunar and solar cycles as best we can. But that's why we go on this little tangent astrologically, is that the spring equinox is one of the festivals that divides the year into 3 quarters. And so there's the agricultural element of it can be used in terms of that metaphor of what are you growing, what are you seeding, what are you growing, what are you planting, what are you growing, what are you harvesting, what are you, starting over with, okay? Okay, and then we're moving on to the astrological full moon, which we talked about, peak of energy to call in the, to sort of balance everything out that's been happening, but also the way my guides are showing it right now is like, it means that as of tonight, 6:42, don't be shocked if, or for the last 2 days, or for the next 2 days, don't be shocked if you end up having to deal with a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to deal with. People that you don't want. You find yourself face-to-face with stuff that you don't really feel like being face-to-face with. But guess what? If you find yourself there, it's clear. It's showing you with clarity in the light of the full moon, showing you what you need to know, right? And it's no longer obscured by Pisces watery bullshit. It's literally like, oh my God, in the next couple of days. Now I got to deal with that? Okay, well, at least I don't know. At least I know where it's coming from. At least I know what I'm facing. At least I know what I'm up against. So keep your wits about you. Tonight, tomorrow, the next night, in that light of the full moon, chances are you're going to be shown stuff that you need to see. So remember, we're out of the sun. The sun is out of Pisces. So if you're being shown it, it's probably because you do need to see it. So look, pay attention. Note to self, look and pay attention when that happens. Okay. Can I set this? Is this dry enough? Yeah. So I'm going to set this right in the middle with all of these yummies. Oh, here, we'll do this one. It's pretty. I'm really into my egg. And then I'm going to do some tarot readings for you guys in just a moment. Oh, baby, kiss me before they turn the lights out. You can love me lights out in the darkest night. Oh. What should we do? Let's do a bit of... Well, should we do full moon? I guess technically the tarot is about the full moon. Should we do the full moon or equinox or both? Oh, both. And we're going to do 2 cards for each. Okay, fun. Epic reading, guys. So for those of you that are new subscribers, want you to know the next thing you're going to be looking for as part of the experience will be your weekly Elements of Spirit readings, which will be published next Wednesday, the 27th. Those readings are done through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether. Ether represents the space in which all of the other elements are vibrating, and the elements of earth, air, water, and fire are connected with each of the astrological signs. 3 signs to each element. Fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We're in Aries. We're in fire sign. We're in that fire sign season. So the way we like to do our weekly readings here and the way we do these tarot readings is by using 1 card for ether to describe the space in which we're dealing with whatever we're reading about, and then 1 card for each of those elements, and we'll tell you the signs as we go through the elements. And then the other fun part about it is ether. Oh, is that we're going to do 2 cards. So we're going to do 1 about the equinox and then 1 about the full moon. What is the best way for us to align with, embody, and harness the power of the equinox, first card, and then the full moon, second card? Oh, fun. My guides are making me be. They're encouraging me. They don't make me do anything, but they're encouraging me to be old school about it and actually cut these decks and do 1 from the bottom and 1. Oh, wait, we're going to cut it once evenly for the equinox. And then we're going to go 1 pile for each of the suits. That'll be earth. That'll be water. That'll be fire. That'll be air. And that will be ether. Fun. And then we get to take the top and the bottom card. And the top card is going to be for the equinox. Bottom card is going to be, oh, for the full moon. So cute. Okay, cool. Top card for the equinox. Bottom card for the full moon. Those are both reversed. Interesting. Top card for the equinox. Bottom card for the full moon. Top card for the equinox. Wow. Okay, there's 1 more reversed. I mean, 1 more upright. And the top card for the equinox. Okay, cool. So, first 2 cards that are very upright, very direct, very serving us what they're serving us is Illumination, and the Lovers. See that? This light is too hard now. Fine. Oh, jeez. You guys. Pisces just squirted. It's kind of pretty, though. There's some on the floor that's not as pretty. It's pretty pretty. It's pretty, all pretty. Okay. So, here's the story with the ether. They're the only 2, well, they're 2 of 4 upright cards in a 10-card spread. So that's that's telling us something. And they're the only 2 in a row. So everyone else has a reversal, which means that the energy's a little tweaked or just a little off center. We got to read a little deeper into what that's about. But when we say, what is the best way for us to harness the power of the equinox, the card is Illumination, the Ace of Wands, which is literally the spark of life. It's literally the match that we struck. It's that flame as it sparks, as it moves, as it goes, okay? So what this means, and aces represent a possibility and potential that needs to be moved on or acted on or somehow manifested, right? Or somehow engaged in order to yield its fruit. So in terms of this one, the illumination, the Ace of Wands, it's saying that the best way for us all to harness the power of this equinox is to remember those things, is to remember that what is born is not invincible. It's a newborn. It needs to be nurtured. You know, you are new, fucking great. That carries a whole other host of annoying baby problems, right? That being like old and tired and disoriented during Pisces season, you know, didn't necessarily have. And oh God, it was so annoying because I don't even know what's going on. But sometimes it's even more annoying when you do know what's going on. So this is sort of saying it's illumination. It's the Ace of Wands. It's a burst of light. It's a spark of light. It's an insight. It's an awakening. It's an awareness. But all of that is very nascent, very tender, very spring-like, shoot-like. Look, bro, in other cards, in other decks, this literally just represents spring because it's the moment of, and Aries, 0 degree Aries, because it's the moment of the end and the first of the light of the beginning, okay? How do we harness the power of the full moon? The Lovers is what comes up, and it's so cool because there's the symmetry of Libra. I don't know if, no, I don't think this is Gemini in other decks, or it's usually, represents Gemini. Look, I found a little baby at the bottom of this, and all these little kitties, which I never saw before. Tigers and kitties and babies, oh my. And I found this little creepy baby today at the store. Look at them. They don't open their eyes. That's creepy. Okay. So what does this mean? This doesn't just mean, it means exactly what we said. It's like you're going to be face to face with the Lovers. But what I love about this is, with the full moon in Libra, what I love about this is that it implies choice. And it implies a choice between an old way and a new way. A choice between the easy way and the right way, or quote unquote light and dark, or yin yang, man woman. Sorry, it's the old school man woman Lovers card, right? But it's literally two beings trying to smush themselves back together. Okay. Point is that, so that's the Libra side of it, but the way this adds to it is to say, make choices based on what's in front of you. Clear, decisive choices, knowing what you know now thanks to this illumination, instead of pretending like you don't know what you know now. Because that was a lot easier in Pisces, to pretend like you don't know what you know now. It's going to be a lot harder to pretend like you don't know what you know right now. And this is basically saying that the best way to harness the lunation of the equinox, or to harness the equinox and the full moon in Libra, is to treat yourself as though you have just had a wake up, but a baby wake up, a nascent wake up. You're a newborn. You're a little chickadee with sticking its head out, looking for that regurgitated food from the mamas. And it's going to come, but it's going to come in the form of teachers, lessons, lovers, people, challenges, and most of all, choices. The full moon in Libra is going to bring you choices, options. The trick is to make those choices, which nobody is going to force you to make, based on what you've just learned, based on what you now know, not pretending like you don't know, based on the well wishes that you've wished for yourself in your exquisite cosmic egg. Okay. Air signs, air babies. Ace of Cups reversed, and then the Four of Wands reversed. So how best for the air babies of Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius to harness the power of this spring equinox? Theory would be you have a lot of potential available to you in the form of hope. There's a lot of emotional hope. There's a lot of there's hope, even if it doesn't feel like there's hope. So the way for you to embody this, because the aces are lined up, is to trust that whatever's being born anew, whatever's happening inside of you, whatever wellness you're wishing for yourself, it's just to trust that, especially for the next, it's to trust that even if it feels like you're not able to get it up off the ground in the next couple of weeks, even if you aren't fully enjoying the good feelings associated with being this newborn, you've got to remember that it's happening under the surface, and that there is a wellspring of goodness and good feelings available to you. You just may have to set about securing your workflow, weirdly enough, and the best way for you to harness the power of the full moon is to destabilize your fixity, your rootedness, and reactivate sort of the security that comes from what you're doing. Okay, so it's to let the fire of this moment breathe new life into your world, so that you're finding security and grounding through what you're doing and what you're putting out, as opposed to trying to find the security and the grounding from doing less and not doing anything at all, right? In this context, it's really cool because it's like the spark of illumination from the equinox. Even if you don't know how to feel about it, you got to trust that there's goodness underneath the surface. Honest to God, I didn't want to say this, but I got to say this to you because that's what I'm here for. Even if it takes you the whole cycle of the spring to feel good about who you are now, it's worth it, because this is saying that you're not supposed to feel like who you are now in the way you used to feel. It's not like you're not supposed to feel new and feel the same way. It's like, in order to appreciate this newness, you got to shake things up a little bit. You got to shake up the home life, the work life, and try to find security more so in what you're putting out there, as opposed to what you're holding down or locking down or securing in here. Make sense? Nine of Cups. No, we're talking about fire babies now. So this is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, okay? Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, welcome to your home. Welcome to the realm of fire. Enjoy your stay. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too hot-headed. It feels great. Oh, we're good. Okay, I was like, what is this about? How best for you to embody, harness, and align with the power of the equinox? Nine of Cups reversed. It's saying we get it. I think that the Scorpio or water babies got this when we entered Pisces. It's like, we get it. You feel great. This is wonderful for you. So the theory is that, like, the way for you to harness this moment and this season, I mean, you guys, there's literally a strawberry daiquiri on here. There's a frosty beverage on here. It says the way for you to do it is to enjoy all of this, but don't get wasted, right? Be bright and shiny, but not aggro. Be full of life and full of joy, but not full of yourself. So it's not full on temperance. We're not saying for you to be sober and just solely aspire to balance. It's to know, again, this is the card. It's to know that for the next 3 months, if you feel like the moon, 3 of Crystals reversed, it's saying don't go comparing and contrasting to death. As you're confronted with people, places, and things from the Libra full moon that are compelling you to change and compelling you to do things differently, this actually says, think about it before you do. This says maybe you're doing things new, being new, and fully embodying, this season, and fully showing up for the opportunities that the Libra full moon presents you. Maybe it's going to actually be more about sticking to your guns and not being so out of left field, not being so impulsive, right? maybe being a little more earthy, not so airy-fairy. Not that you guys get airy-fairy, but that's what this card is saying, is that this lunation is going to kind of be trying to make you look for problems that maybe aren't really there and change things that maybe don't really need to be changed. So I would say keep your wits about you, because this is that kind of thing where I always want to say to you guys, you're probably doing better than you think, and you will probably continue to be doing better than you think, especially for the next 7-8 days as Mercury retrograde finishes unpacking until the 28th. Maybe really try working with the idea, like, what if I feel great, and what if I don't need to do as much differently as I thought? What if I feel great and can sort of stay that way? Minor adjustments. Okay? Okay. Interesting. I can feel the energy shifting and changing. Water babies. Heavenly water babies. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. How best for us to harness the power of the spring equinox? This card is called Fear, 7 of Cups. It says, don't be afraid. It's reversed. But also, Chiron in Aries, face your fears. Ooh. That means the sun is going to conjunct Chiron in Aries really soon, which means we're all going to go through a collective healing. We're all going to be forced to look at something in ourselves that we didn't notice and really focus on it and adjust it so that the whole system is in better integrity. That's promising. But this one, the Hook by Your Bootstraps folks here, there's a little bit like back to it. Okay, because honest to God, it's like, that's still intense. That was an intense Pisces season, even if you made it through relatively unscathed. I mean, I learned so much, but it was not easy. And remember, we get the tail end of Mercury and Pisces to sort of help us do. But the theory here is really, I hope I'm not projecting this onto all of y'all, because this is definitely a message that I need to hear, is like, for the season of spring, no calling no ambulance. We don't get to whine. We don't get to complain. If we feel something strongly, we want to either take action during the Aries season. We want to do something practical during Taurus season, or we want to really try to figure it out, right? Engage it mentally during Gemini season. So the whole theory here is that, like, in Pisces season, it was actually more appropriate to go deeply into the emotions in order to figure out what's going on. This season of spring, it's actually more important to acknowledge those emotions and develop that healthy attachment through the next elements of fire, earth, and air. And then, what's the choice we get to make? What is the lover? How do we harness the Libra lunations? This says you got to keep yourself feeling hot. Oh, I got to post that for you guys. We did like a remix of a reading that we did where the chorus of it was like, you got to do what makes you feel hot. You got to do what makes you feel hot. So here's the Woman of Wands. She's the censor. Oh, she's not just intuitive. She's a lightning rod for spirit. She's a shaman. She receives the wisdom fully. She's a full fucking witch. But she's like a sex witch. She's like she's a powerful healer who doesn't just like know the laws of the universe, who embodies the laws of the universe and literally channels them through her pussy. Just speaking to the difference of like what would be the difference of the Man of Wands versus the Woman of Wands in the tarot, or in this tarot, it's like the woman has different capabilities where she is able to receive the fullness of the bandwidth and channel it and distribute it equitably. Whereas the Man of Wands more so tries to like dominate and control that same frequency or that same flow. Okay, and maybe they can, but just different approaches. So theory is for water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, the trick this season is to pour out the remainders of our fear and just generally try to be less emotional. And the way we can do that is not by feeling ourselves into feeling, but by doing what feels good. Woman of Wands, censor. One of the things that we learned also from our sexual healing, our Kundalini healing that we had the other day, is that allowing the energy in, allowing that kind of force that the Woman of Wands knows how to allow in, is a very sexy, powerful experience. It can be very disorienting. It can be very overwhelming. And we low-key think this is why we were conceived and incarnated in like a very thick, large Greek form, so that we can handle these energies fully. So the idea here is like, be brave enough to not just feel the feelings, be brave enough to do the things that make you feel the feelings, because otherwise you could just end up sitting at home feeling overwhelmed emotionally, as opposed to immersing yourself in some direct experiences and feeling what those actions do for you. It's a great example of a water sign moving through full moon in, water sign moving through a water sign in Aries season is beautiful. It's like this. It's like, don't just feel the feels. Do the thing that makes you feel the feels. Be brave enough to do it. Don't just sit there in your puddle. Get out there and do the stuff. Face the stuff. Get the stuff that makes you wet, that makes you juicy. Okay? That feels really good. Finally, the Earth babies of the... Oh, wait, does that make sense? 7 of Cups and the Woman of Wands. Yeah, we covered that. So finally, okay, hold on. Let's just see. Okay. Finally, the I'm hoping you guys aren't hearing my buddy next door, because I am. So I hope the sound is not too disorienting for you. Pardon my bouquet. Okay. Finally, Earth babies, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Best way for you to harness the power of this equinox. It's the Sage of Crystals, the knower, and he's reversed. They are reversed. So the thing that you would be trying to embody for this whole season is, because you're this new baby spark, right? Oh, yeah. Because you're this new baby spark, water signs, right? Maybe the old fears are not even valid anymore. Because you're a new baby spark, maybe you don't need to know everything you think you need to know, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Maybe it's okay for you to not have everything figured out. Because from what we've seen, you've proven so much of yourself over the course of the last year. This is sort of implying that you get to start anew, not start over, but start anew. So rather than feeling like you have to climb some insane ladder and just keep going higher and higher and higher for the rest of your existence, think of it in terms of like the octaves, that like every time you get to a new octave, there's a new glass floor beneath you. And if you look up, there's a glass ceiling. And you go up another octave, and then you look down and there's the glass floor, and you look up and there's the glass ceiling. All of that is so major, right? This sort of says, when you're midway, when you're hanging out around F and G in the middle of the octave and you keep going up, it helps to know where you've come from, because it helps to orient yourself for where you're going. But the idea that you need to sort of keep this octave and this one and this one and this one and every octave beneath you in mind as you keep going up is not true. You don't need to always be thinking about what happened before, because then you're dwelling in the past. You want to only lean on past experience when you need to lean on past experience. And the whole point here is, if you are a newborn, you actually don't have a lot of past experience. But if you are a mystical cosmic newborn, then you know that you have all of the experience that you need in your heart, in your soul, but you might as well allow yourself to be new, because that's what Aries is about. That's what's appropriate for the season. That's what's appropriate for this cycle. So it's like, let yourself be a little bit more of a kid. Let yourself do, feel, and be what you are, rather than and do, feel, and be what you can, rather than feeling like you need to know everything you need to know about what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, who you are. Make sense? It's like, let yourself not know. And the best way for you to embody this lunation of the full moon in Libra interesting is it's the moon upright. And so this literally says, take a look at yourself. Take a good look at my face. If you don't know, if you don't need to know what you used to need to know, maybe you can look yourself in the mirror right now and see something that you didn't see before. So it's almost like you're inducing a kind of Piscean state. You're inducing Pisces, but without any of the water, without any of the emotions. Inducing a deep healing because you're able to take this moment of the next 2 weeks of the full moon in Libra, right? Take this moment of the moon, this full moon moment, to really reflect on yourself and reflect on who you are now, and to think about who you are now, and to look at the evidence of who you are now, as opposed to feeling like you have to act or have feelings about it, right? It's like, look at who you are, think about who you are, acknowledge who you are, and acknowledge the evidence of who you are. Because what this card says is, it says that this full moon, for some reason, well, because of the Libran tendencies, gives you an opportunity to see it really clearly. So look at it, because it's probably going to be really clear. Look at yourself, because you're probably going to see things that you didn't see before. I would say definitely, at least for you earth signs, but we could all benefit from this. Maybe try looking in the mirror around the time of the full moon, 6:42 East Coast, 3:42 West Coast. And look into your eyes, look into your face, look into yourself, and see if you notice anything new. And write down some notes about it. Okay. So those are your tarot readings for this spring equinox full moon transmission. We would normally do a suggestion for ritual. Oh, we just gave you a suggestion for ritual. Just look in the mirror during the full moon. Everyone, why not? 6:42, if you feel like it. We've already bundled everything you need for the full moon into this situation. By way of what happens now, what happens next. We're in New York for a few weeks. I'm going to be bopping to Miami for a moment, and then heading back to LA. So if you want a session, a private session, if you want us to host a class or lead a circle, we're also thinking of booking like a longer session for people that want to do a group of like 3 or 4 people in a reading, so people can sort of split the cost of a couple hours, or however long we decide. So if you want any of that stuff, we're obviously available, info@ediblespirit.com if you want to request an appointment, or go to the website, ediblespirit.com. Additionally, the whole month of May, we're going to be doing readings every Saturday, tarot readings every Saturday at Soho House in LA. So if you're a member, join us at Soho House. Thursday, the 21st, March 21st, going to be doing the Feels with John Hill. So if you're a serious subscriber, tune into channel 102 Radio Andy XM at 7 p.m. on the East Coast, 4 p.m. on the West Coast, and then I believe it airs again at 10 and 7, 10 p.m. on the East, 7 on the West. Going to be doing the Dragon and the Rose Psychic Fair in the middle of April, April 14th. And then, as we said, the next thing you have to look forward to is your Elements of Spirit weekly video readings that come on the next Wednesday, the 27th. As always, we are here for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Email or DM us if you have any questions. And that's the last thing. So what we're going to do now is actually leave all of this be for as long as possible, okay? Yeah, we're going to let them cook. And you're going to let them cook until either the candle that you have goes out, until the Mercury retrograde is over. If you have to stop it and start it when you leave and return to the house, that's fine. And then once that happens, you're basically going to crack that egg open, unseal it, reread what you've looked at one last time, reflect on where you're at, and on the weird synchronicities of the end of Pisces and rebirth into Aries, and whatever you learned in the space and time that's transpired between this ritual and when you're cracking open your egg, whether it's 10 minutes or 10 days. And just to reiterate, that's the whole point, is that we put all of our well wishes in here. We're incubating now. It's growing and swelling inside of us, so that it can balance out energetically with what we've learned from the past, even though we've already breathed the spark of life into it in the present, thanks to the equinox. Then once we get to the end of that time, we're going to further invoke that energy of cardinal fire by cracking it open, finding our intentions, striking another match, or lighting another candle and burning those intentions safely. Love to do it in a big pot or in a bowl with a lid. Also like those lids, strainers, right? We have a mesh strainer that you can use to make sure that the sparks don't go flying anywhere. Fireplace works just as well. If you have a fireplace, we love that. And then finally, what you would do then is you would give thanks to all of the elements in reverse order again. So starting with earth, moving to water, moving to fire, moving to air, giving thanks to all of your guides and guardians, ancestors, angels, archangels, saints, masters, the spirits on the land which you find yourself, giving thanks to all of them. Oh, P.S. We did do that part of the invocation, so sorry for the mercuric mix-up. We forgot to tell you to bring in your power objects and whatnot. Hopefully you have them close by or you have them on the altar. We don't really have a lot of power objects because we're on the road right now. We have crystals and such, but I wanted to just keep it spare so that you guys could see that even though we are supposedly the one who knows what we're doing here, we are also just doing what we can to align with these forces that are much bigger than ourselves and that don't really care whether we have a silver muffin tin or an actual blue cosmic egg from the Dwayne Reed. Okay. But with that said, if you are watching this and haven't done the ritual yet, you could put those items onto the table. You could also call in your guides and guardians and ancestors, asking them to bless this working in the same time that we were calling on all the elements in that moment when we were opening up sacred space in the beginning. Basically, that would be the most appropriate time to call those energies in, and then thanking them as you close the circle when the candle is out and the egg is cracked and the paper is burned. You see, that's when you'd sort of back out the other way. But for now, we're going to thank these energies together, okay? So closing your eyes, I'm feeling that connection to the earth again, feeling that safe space around you, does it feel any different? Is it charged differently? What's it like? Remembering all of the beautiful forces that we called in here, giving great thanks to the guardians of the earth, the guardians of the water, the guardians of the fire, the guardians of the air, giving great thanks to ether, to space, to Mother Earth and Father Sky, to all of the guides, guardians, and ancestors which were called in here on wings of love and waves of light. And great thanks to all of the angels, archangels, saints, orishas, masters, ancestors, and ancient ones, all the elementals, all the nature spirits. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today. Please continue working with everyone for as long as is needed from the highest good and healing, helping them to align fully with the energy of the equinox, balance fully with the energy of the full moon in Libra. Let this be a blessed and blissful season for everyone involved. May we heal what needs to be healed, open what needs to be opened, clear what needs to be cleared, connect with ourselves, with each other, in bliss, in love, in peace, in grace. We're eternally grateful to you all for your presence. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each one of you for joining this. Thank you to the Edible Spirit Collective. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, one and all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. Deep breath in your nose. Blowing it up the mouth. And this transition is complete. This transmission is complete, and this transition is also complete. We moved from Pisces into Aries, and here we stay for now, for this moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Turning grateful. So be it, so it is. Transmission complete. Thank you all. Let us know your questions, comments, concerns, and feedback. We love you so much. See you later. Hey.